Operation Hellfire. I just had this fabulous video going for you. And my computer just came to a crashing halt. So I'm going to try this again. God, I had some really good stuff in that video for you. But we're going to talk about public speaking, and I'm hoping this time I can get to the end of this topic of stage fright and public speaking without my computer going into cardiac arrest. So, public speaking. Let's start with the stuff I didn't get to cover, and then maybe I'll backtrack and give you the rest of that video because it's not here and available to me. I'm really pissed off about this today. Okay. When you're up on a stage, whether you're an actor, public speaker, you're addressing an audience, there's people who are rooting for you. They're really hoping that you're going to do well. They're in your corner. They're cheering you on. You might even notice a few people in the audience with little smiles on their faces. Little corners of their mouth are turned up. They want you to succeed. Why do they want you to succeed? Well, they're thinking to themselves, geez, I'd just die if I had to do that. I would be just frozen and paralyzed if I had to get up and address an audience like that. And they're sending you positive energy. You may not believe that, but they are. They're wanting you to succeed. They're pulling for you. Almost all of them. When I say almost all of them, there are a few assholes in every audience. Whether you're a comedian or whatever it is you're doing up there on stage, there are a few assholes. Now, I sort of think of assholes as poor souls. Poor souls are people who've been miserable lifelong. They resent you for having the exceptional courage to get up and address an audience that they don't have, and that they very likely never will have. These poor souls, better known as assholes, are people that always had to perform for somebody else. Maybe they grew up having to perform for mom or dad and be the perfect little boy or girl. And they feel insecure. They were always criticized, shamed, put down throughout their childhood experience. I think a lot of us can relate to that. But these poor souls have bought into accepting that misery is normal. And surviving is the norm. They never even think about thriving. So when they see you doing something that they can't muster the courage to do because they've been beaten down so much early in their life, and they've continued to beat themselves down so much, well, they resent you for it. They're uncomfortable with it because it's a mirror for what they're not, for who they haven't been able to become. Anybody can become successful. Anybody can become rich. Anybody can get comfortable with public speaking. Anybody. We just have to move the self-worth wounds off their platter and give them the right tools to turn off their negative tape that likes to play 24/7. I'm not lovable, I'm not good enough, I'm a piece of shit. That they were indoctrinated with early in life. So 95% of your audience at least is pulling for you. They want you to succeed. They're sending you positive energy. They're hoping that you feel comfortable up there because they sure as hell wouldn't. Oh my God. You mentioned to somebody public speaking, they're like, most of us are like that. No big deal. This is a natural, normal human response to having to perform in front of an audience. Yikes! When I was little, at 7 years old, I remember putting on plays in my backyard, giving everybody a role and putting on plays in my backyard. I mean, this was like a forgotten memory for me, but that part of me that you see today was in me as a child. I didn't have to perform a lot as a child. I was mostly just part of the furniture. I recall my mother not even recognizing that I was in the space with her and trying very, very, very hard to get her attention when she had her nose in a book and she was chain smoking her cigarettes and the cat was curled up in her lap. So I think there was always a performer in me, but I had the same reaction to public speaking that you do, that most of us do. Strikes dread in our hearts. So the tried and true strategies that we've heard here and there, just imagine that everybody in your audience is naked. They have no clothes on. Just, all those people put their trousers on the same way every day like you do. All those people sit on the can every morning and experience a catharsis, just like you do. They're no different from you. They're not there to judge you, which is true. 95% of them. They're not wishing that you'll fail, which is true for 95% of them. The other 5%, fuck them. If they have poor self-worth and they can't work up the exceptional courage that they want to have because of that poor self-worth, they'll resent you for any gain you make. Nobody takes shots at you when you're at the base of the mountain. Nobody. Nobody cares about you. Nobody hears about you. Nobody is concerned about you and what you're doing. It's only when you get to the top of the mountain or you get near the top of the mountain that people start paying attention to you. I've experienced this a little in my own sphere in recent times. You can Google Sherry Schreiber MA, my dears, and read lots of trash about me on the internet. Stories that aren't even true. That have no validity whatsoever to them, which I've cleared up in some of my articles. And I've cleared up on my bio page on gettingbetter.com. But when you post something to the internet, it stays on the internet. It stays forever. It'll probably be up there long past my shelf life. After I'm dead, all this shit about Sherry Schreiber M.A. will still be on the internet. Mostly posted by people who land on my borderline personality disorder articles. And maybe the materials in those articles that are transcribed from hundreds and hundreds of personal accounts shared with me has offended somebody. Hits a little too close to home, strikes a nerve. What are you going to do? I wrote those articles for survivors of these tormenting toxic relationships. I wasn't out to hurt anybody. I was just out to tell the truth, like I do in these videos. So there will always be people who don't like you. There will always be people that you offend. There will always be people that will resent the hell out of you. But if you work to grow your self-esteem, if you work to heal your self-worth, to where it's genuine, it's solid inside of you, nobody can take that away. And any criticisms that come your way, no matter how shaming they are, and no matter how vile those attacks are, kind of roll off your back like water off a duck. At least that's the way I feel about them. I know who I am and I know who I'm not. I'm not a perfect person. Don't want to be. That'd be boring. I'm a multi-dimensional, intricate, fascinating being. I have light parts and dark parts, like I speak to in one of my other videos. Chicken. Humans are like chickens, light parts and dark parts. Trick in life is balancing them, letting them counterbalance each other. So next time you're called upon to speak to a group at work, or you're called upon to give a speech like I was back when I was an intern, my supervisor, Dr. Stephen Johnson, in my internship, was invited to address an audience at JPL, Jet Propulsion Labs, ironically out here in the area in which I live now. And he said, Sherry, if you think you want to give a talk on a particular topic, why don't you join me? And I was like, I was. I was like, the mere thought of it struck dread and panic in my heart. But I got up on that stage after he presented. I decided to talk about depression in women and the intricate nature of depression in general. And I did talk about how very important it is to rule out biological, physiological issues before you stick somebody on antidepressants. Could be low thyroid levels that are activating that depression. Could be pituitary gland issues that could be activating that depression. Could be hormone levels, both male and female, that are activating that depression. So you've really got, if you're going to be responsible with patients or clients, you got to dig around and do some blood work and find out what's really there before you stick them on antidepressants, because it could be an issue pertaining to something else besides my boyfriend broke up with me. Public speaking. You've got to go in knowing those people want you to succeed. You've got to go in knowing they're thinking to themselves, Jesus Christ, sure am glad it's not me up on that stage. Oh my God, I admire this person so much for having the nerve to do this. You've got to know this going in. And you've got to try and be as natural and true to yourself as is humanly possible. You've just got to pretend you're talking to another person like I do with you in these videos. This is easy for me. This is a piece of cake for me because what I give you in these videos is rehearsed probably thousands of times because this is what I've been doing in my practice all these years, talking about these kinds of issues and giving people tools, self-worth building tools to repair that little boy or girl inside of them. And also teaching them how to stay in the body and feel their emotions as opposed to going straight up into their heads to hyperanalyze the shit out of them. Psychotherapists want to do that stuff with you. I never have. To me, while that may seem interesting, and a lot of people really relish that process, I never have. So it's not been a part of my life and my life's work. Okay, so that audience is on your side, except for the poor assholes or poor souls who are jealous of you, who are envious of you, and who resent the hell out of you for doing what they're scared to do. Hope this is helpful to you. Be yourself. Whatever the venue. Actors have it tough because they have to speak lines that are written for them. I have it easy because I just speak my own lines. This is my truth. This is what matters to me. This is what's real to me. I'm not following a script. Actors, man, oh man, do I have respect for them. Honestly, I could never do that kind of work. Could never do it. So, I'm hoping this is instructive to you. I'm hoping this is helpful to you. Next time you think about addressing an audience, small or large. And I hope you have a magnificent Sunday. And bye for now.